grizzled dwarf turns a blade in his calloused hands, carefully inspecting its edge. When he sees you approaching, he sets the blade aside and greets you with a nod. A new face in the city. Picked a good time to come to Canabras, as you can see. We're in sore need of warriors. Wow, do you know everyone in Canabras by sight? Well, not everyone, but I make it my business to know the people who might need my services. Blacksmith work isn't just at the anvil, you know. It's hard not to notice your kind. Asimers aren't all that common around here, apart from Ramian, the prior of the Temple of Desna. Spiritual fella, if a bit woolly-headed. And there's also that Count something or other, some muckety-muck, not the type to visit a smith in person. Are you, Staunton Vaughn's brother by chance? Yep. Where he goes, I go. That's how we've always done it. And even before the world wound. I forge the armor, he goes into battle and breaks it. He brings it back to me and I repair it and make it better than before. Everything's changed since then, of course, but that part has stayed the same. I heard about Staunton being blamed for the fall of Dresden. How exactly is he at fault? I have told this story so many times already. Well, I guess telling it one more time won't kill me. Alright, Dresden was built after the First Crusade. Back when it seemed like victory was ours for the taking, and that the demon invasion would soon be at an end. The population of Old Sakaros was thoroughly diminished, and many of them hoped to see the hard fighting repaid with a small plot of land. Dresden was a fortress built on all our hopes, and on Mendev's ambition, though we are not supposed to say that out loud. What a city it was, Lazarus. You can't even imagine. It was built by the finest engineers from the Five King Mountains. Queen Galfrey spared no expense. Dresden was meant to be the capital of the Crusade movement, a monument to its glory and a beacon of hope for all of Golorion. Heroes were drawn there to seek fame and glory, and they came from all over, Taldor, Joran, Tianzi. I couldn't list them all. A relic known as the Sword of Valor was kept there, the banner that had been carried into battle by Yamade herself, back when she was still human. That banner protected the city and kept the demons from teleporting inside its walls. As long as the banner was in its place, Dresden was invincible. Or so we thought. But then the world wound suddenly expanded. The demons launched a new onslaught, and folks started saying it was time to declare the Second Crusade. Dresden was unassailable, until one young officer was tempted by a beautiful woman. She convinced him that the banner shouldn't be hanging in the city, that its rightful place was on the battlefield. She whispered honey words about glory and valor, and convinced him that he could be a hero as great as Yamade herself. And the poor fellow believed her. He rounded up some of his hot-headed friends and carried the banner outside the city gates on an unauthorized foray. The demons slaughtered them within seconds. But, for some reason, the courageous ringleader was spared. A whole army teleported into Dresden. It was a bloodbath. Joran solemnly shakes his head. As you can guess, that officer was called Staunton Vhane, and the woman turned out to be a demon. And not just any demon. It was Minago, that foul wetch. She's given us a lot of grief here in Canabras too. Just don't ask me what I was doing while my brother was having trysts with the beast, and why I didn't save him from his own stupidity. The blacksmith gestures as if to ward off the inevitable reprobation. Who could have guessed it would end like this? I failed my brother, that's the truth. I blame myself every day. Look at his plight. So, that's my story. Why, first of all, thank you for sharing that. Anyway, why do you have your forge here in the tavern yard? Ah, well, wherever I am, that's where my forge is. A true master of any craft will always find the tools they need. I miss my old forge, of course. It's now just a pile of charred stone and metal, but Still got my hands, and that means I can work. Well, if you can work, you recognize the sword? Do I recognize it? Of course I do. I made this with my own hands. There's my brand, see? The dwarf carefully takes the sword in his hands, gazing at it like a doting father. Oh, Yaniel, things have been tough without you, but at least we still got our sword. That's something. Joran returns the sword to you. In battle, ordinary swords get blunted. They break. But sometimes, a weapon can preserve. I don't even know how to explain it. I'm no authority on these things, but something like an echo of the deeds done with that weapon, or more like the reflection of the wielder's soul. I don't know. I will say one thing. Take care of that sword. Vhane may no longer be with us, but the demons will still remember why they need to turn tail and run when they see radiance. Oof. Scabbard's all worn though. Well, we can't be having a fine sword like this being carried around in this tatty thing. I'll make you a new one if you like. Now, if the city stands strong and we both survive, come see me again. I'll have it ready. No charge. Oh, thank you. I have to go.